Hey, JK here. I want to thank you for sharing Grudder Day with me.
Y'all ready for this?
Welcome back to 30 Teams in 30 Days. This is day 2, and we're talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks, the 4th team in the NL Central. In 2025, they were 80-82, so just slightly under 500, and this actually snapped a 5-year streak of improving year after year, dating back to C20. If you're not familiar with C20, that's what I call 2020. Their 2025 season was in flux with highs and lows from various players. Zach Gallen, Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, and the entire bullpen. It wasn't all bad for Corbin Carroll though. He did lead the team in runs, triples, home runs, total bases, stolen bases, slugging percentage, and strikeouts, while Ketel Marte just barely edged him out for OPS by literally 1,000th of a point. But another team leader who I was pretty bullish on going into 2025 because I really wasn't a believer in him from his 2024 was Geraldo Perdomo, or Geraldo Rivera as I want to call him. He had an amazing start to 2024. He was up to, I specifically remember, a 344 batting average, and he was putting up numbers. I picked him up a time or two. I'm like, holy cow, dude, this guy's the real deal. But he fell down. It was still like 270, but still, I was like, okay, flash in the pan. He'll put some numbers up. He was really leaning on his earlier numbers. Well, I was wrong. 2025, he maintained numbers and put up a 290 batting average. So I was 100% wrong on him. He absolutely will be a mainstay with Corbin Carroll in that offense and defense moving forward at shortstop. However, he's definitely going to have to work on his errors. He had 18 from shortstop, so if Corbin Carroll and Perdomo are going to get over that hump, they have to make sure they cut down their errors. Speaking of Corbin Carroll, though, you might have looked at him and said like he didn't have that good a season. I think he batted like 250, 260. So we're still thinking of his rookie year where he came on hot. Well, he was sneaky good in 2025. Corbin Carroll was actually able to increase all of his counting stats, except for walks and stolen bases, and he was able to, in 25 less at-bats, put on 30 more batting average points. Wow! So that 250, 260 batting average didn't look too bad when you think about that. You're putting up these monster numbers, stealing tons of bases, even though, again, not matching his 2024 numbers, but holy cow, man. Corbin Carroll is going to be fine. He had a very weird 2024. He bounced back just fine. Making a shift from the outfield, going to the Keystone, we're going to be talking about Ketel Marte. He also had kind of a weird 2025 because he had the incident with the fans saying something about his mom. It visibly shook him up. He sat out a game or two. The Arizona Diamondbacks fans and players rallied around him. He got back on there, got on his high horse, and produced. And he has been a vital producer in that offense for the past several years. However, nearing age 33, I don't want to bring it up. I won't be that guy, but regression could become. 2025 was a down year for him. So someone who's had a few injuries over the years, getting on the wrong side of 30, having been there for a few years now, he might be a candidate. I don't want it to be so. I really like Ketel Marte. I have him on a few of my teams. I want to see him produce. I want to see him improve. And right now, I think he'll be fine. He's got enough firepower around him in that offense with Corbin Carroll, with Perdomo, with a few other guys we're going to be talking about. He is going to be fine. But I really hate that's even a thought in my mind, because again, I do really want him to do well. I think he'll do well, but something to keep in mind with these aging stars. Another one, Lourdes Gurriel, one of my favorite players, mainly because I saw him beat up in my Yankees so many years when he was in Toronto. He was on pace to have career years in multiple stats, including triples, home runs, RBIs, stolen bases, and walks. So it's not like he was just fiddle farting around. He was producing at a high rate for this team. And then that ACL kicked his butt. As someone who's had 3 ACL tears in my life, I hate it for him. Obviously, he's a much higher level player than I am or ever was and dreamt to be. But man, that is tough for him because he was doing such great stuff. Now, Gurriel's also nearing the age of 33, so I don't want to say there's regression coming, but with how hard he's been working to get back from his ACL, he talks about when he'll be back for opening day. President's like, look, man, we're not going to push it. You're a great player. You're a star player. We don't want to make it any worse. We don't want to push you. Wait, he said, screw that. I want to be back, man. So maybe a month into the season, 2 months at most. I'm sure he'll be back. He's going to hit the ground running. He is absolutely going to do everything he can to get back in there. He was on the precipice of career best in multiple stats. He did not want that to be thrown away. He didn't want to waste that opportunity. So I'm not saying he's a career best, but I'm definitely saying that he's going to come back strong and he is ready to get these Diamondbacks back to the playoffs. Started with some younger guys, moved to the older guys. Now we're back to the youngsters. Everyone is waiting for an extended look at Adrian Del Castillo. He has had 69 games at the major league level between 24 and 25. Over an entire year for 162 games. The numbers look okay, but still leave a lot to be desired, to be honest with you. Keep in mind, when I say I calculated this, this is only based on the 69 games he has at the major league level. That does not account for if those appearances were because of a pinch hit, or maybe he was starting the game and then left early. Whatever it is, the games that we are accounting for are not a perfect idea of what he's going to have. You can tell because there's only 314 at-bats in this projection. He's going to have more than that as a primary catcher, or first, DH, or wherever he's going to play, okay? 314 at-bats, 85 hits. It did say he was going to have 13 home runs, produce just over 50 RBIs. The prediction also said he was going to score 33 runs and have 24 walks, so that is a very close number, especially for those two statistics. Did also say he was going to have a 270 batting average, which is great, and he's going to strike out 118 times. So keep all of this in a very close vacuum. Do not take this for God's word. This is just projection, and this is just based off of what he did in 24 and 25, not the all be all. But I do think he is going to be exciting to watch. A big body. He's able to get some stuff done, okay? But before Castillo can make any stats, he has to find a place in the lineup. Right now, his primary position catcher is occupied by Gabriel Moreno, who is also an offensive catcher. But his playing time has been decreasing these last few years. But his stats keep increasing. Runs, hits, home runs, RBIs, somehow they keep going up. I guess that's because he's on a pretty decent team, right? So, both of them being offensive catchers, neither one being great defensively, you could very well move Castillo to first because his main competition is Pavin Smith. Pavin Smith cooled off considerably. I know, because I had him for a little bit and he went from 300 batting average down to like 250. Look, man, I can't do any better than you, but I need you doing better on my fantasy team. And again, just like I said yesterday with Zach Veen, don't bring Castillo up for like 10 games and then throw him back down because he's not doing well. It's 10 games. You have to give more time. Speaking of the outfield with Pavin Smith, we're going to shift back there, talk about Alek Thomas, one of my favorite players. He absolutely has the talent to be a center fielder for Team USA. I hope they do select him to go over there. But man, I am excited to see him playing this upcoming year because he's going to have more of an opportunity with Lourdes Gurriel out. I know, it's not the best way to get time and get that playing time, but gotta use what you got. And with him being able to represent Team USA, that's going to allow him to get a little more ball out with some other players, not only for the D-backs with Corbin Carroll, but then just in general, some other players around the league and nationally, of course. I do think that the concern for him and his strikeouts going up, but his average, his OPS, and his slugging also went up. This guy we're talking about is Jordan Lawler. This guy had so much hype coming out of the draft. He was one of the top prospects for several years for the Diamondbacks and still is. But after 47 games up at the major league level over the last few years, he's not showing enough, man. And to top it off, his main position, shortstop, is blocked by Perdomo. So this winter and going into spring training, he has been training in the outfield. That's a crowded outfield. Once Lourdes comes back, you have my boy Thomas. You have Corbin Carroll. You have Pavin Smith. You have Jordan Lawler. You have a lot of names, but where are they all going to play? I say it's frustrating, not because I have any horse in this race with the D-backs, but as Jordan Lawler has been productive throughout his time, except at the major league level, he needs an extended look. And if he's not going to be able to get that because of his lack of production, his ability or inability to catch up to the game at this level, he's not going to get that look. Well, guess what? When you are just slightly under 500, when you are trying to make the playoffs, there is not going to be a manager saying, let's just keep with the kid. Let's keep giving him these opportunities to go out there and get out because they want to make the playoffs. It's tough, but it's part of the business. No one is going to keep someone in the lineup if they're not producing, unless they're the New York Yankees. As we move on to pitching, you would think the ace of a team would lead and dominate in all categories. What's almost what Zach Gallen did. Zach Gallen did lead everything. He did share wins and games started with someone else, but he should not have won ERA or WHIP. But Ryan Nelson was 8 innings short of qualifying. Let's go back to the qualifying metric, 162 games, 162 innings pitched. These were the differences in their ERA. Zach Gallen had a 4.8. Ryan Nelson had a 3.3. Zach Gallen had a 1.26 whip. Ryan Nelson had a 1.07. Clearly, Ryan Nelson was the better ratio pitcher, okay? Now, the youngster that he shared games started and wins with somehow was Brandon Pfadt. I think that's how you say his name. I like to say it like, it's spelled P-F-A-A-D-T, so we'll go with somehow he won games. You might be thinking, whoa, dude, like, why are you so down on this guy already? We don't even know anything. I don't know if he remembers how to pitch. Like, I think there are games he goes out and he's like, am I a pitcher or am I like a bullpen guy to get the catchers warm? What am I doing out here? It's terrible. First of all, his ERA jumped from 4.7, which wasn't good in the first place, to 5.25. What? His whip jumped 1.24, not great, to 1.33. Not the worst in the world, but definitely not nice. His Ks dropped from 183 to 147. All of this in 5 less innings pitched. He also gave up more hits, more runs, more earned runs, and more home runs. What happened, dude? He did walk 5 less people, so congratulations, like that's good. But let me tell you, man, in order to stay in this rotation, which honestly it's not that hard to because of what I'm about to tell you, you got to figure something out. Zach Gallen, from 2022 to 2025, ERA jumped from 2.54 to 4.83. What? You also have Ron Nelson, who started off so hot and then fell 8 innings short of qualifying to be team leader in ERA and in whip and probably WAR as well, but who knows? I didn't look at that. I don't pay attention to that. Then you have Ed Weirdo. I know it's Eduardo, but I call him Ed Weirdo. Rodriguez, who's turning 37, who for 4 of the last 5 years has had an ERA of 5+, and even that one where it was like 4, it was like 4.3 or something. And then you had Corbin Burns, who had to have surgery last year, and then Tommy Henry, also Tommy John surgery. So you have this group right here that has a ton of issues. Pfadt, you're the youngest one. You could arguably be the ace of the staff. Okay, calm down. We're done talking about the rotation. Let's just move on to the bullpen. Hold on. Got a notification. Wow. Another arm for the bullpen has to have Tommy John surgery. That sounds about par for the Diamondbacks in 2025. If you were part of the 2025 bullpen for the Diamondbacks, you needed to make sure you were ready for some type of surgery or hospital stay or time away from baseball. Because we got AJ Puke, I know it's Puck, but I like to call him Puke. Justin Martinez. Oh my gosh, I love Justin Martinez, man. He was my guy holding it down for me in holds leagues, then took over. I know it's because Puke got hurt, but so I'm not happy, but I'm happy that I made the right call. Then Justin Martinez got hurt. Gosh, oh. And then when he got hurt, I was like, okay, Shelby Miller, you're my key. Nope, you got hurt too. Really? Three closers with the same type of injury in the same bullpen? Come on, dog. And then you had Kevin Ginkel, who I will never, ever trust again. He screwed me over 2 years ago. Dre Jameson, who had some really sweet-looking Scooby-Doo a few years ago. And then the man, the myth, the legend of all people in this bullpen who's going to save us, Kendall Graveman. All of them had season-ending surgeries. Then you know who they are going to bring in? Paul Sewald. It's Paul Sewald, but he also has a history of injuries. Oh my God. Do not go after anyone in this bullpen. We are going to jump to the fantasy assets right now. Don't grab anyone in that bullpen. Moving on to the arrivals and departures. Jake McCarthy is no longer a Diamondback. He's a Rocky. We literally just talked about him yesterday. And Blaze Alexander, a former top prospect for this organization, shipped him off to, I think, Baltimore. So, yeah, they got tired of him not producing. Moving on over to the rivals. I'm going to read this list because I think it's a great list. And if we were back in like 2015, oh my gosh, this would be a phenomenal team. So first of all, Merrill Kelly, he's back with the team. I remember trading for him. He was like a 21st round pick for me, and I traded for Tim Anderson. That's how you know it was a while ago, because Tim Anderson was still relevant, still in the league. I traded Merrill Kelly and the 21st round pick for Tim Anderson. I think he was a 10th round pick or something. Yeah, thought I'd hose that guy. I did not. Carlos Santana, who I loved in Cleveland, in Believeland. He's got a great eye. I don't know if his 220 batting average is going to do it. Also, Nolan Arenado. Love me some Nolan. Bold prediction coming for specifically Nolan Arenado because I love him so much. Also brought in Paul Sewald, like we talked about before. Grant Holman, who was another bullpen arm. And Oscar Mercado, who is also a former Indian. So, little fun fact. And also a Yankee. So, I don't know if that's good or bad. Then during the year, they're going to be getting back a few guys, including Corbin Carroll, including Lourdes Gurriel, including AJ Puke, and Justin Martinez, and technically Andrew Saalfrank, who is another bullpen arm. But those four guys, and Saalfrank probably, if the bullpen is bad, could absolutely be playmakers for this team, especially if they're still in contention, not too far behind, making a run towards the end of the season with a healthy guy in the bases, healthy guy on the mound, some hitters who are absolutely trying to get after it. I feel good about these guys. I feel good about the Diamondbacks. So I say bold, they're going to be over 500 for sure, but it's really going to depend on that freaking bullpen. I'll get to the prospects. There are a few guys who are not listed in the top 100, but are still top guys, at least at the AAA or MLB position for the Diamondbacks. Cole Drake, Tommy Trey, and Mitch Bratt. All those guys have a little something to prove. They could be playmakers, but also still need a little production or to improve what they've done at major league level. But their only top 100 prospect is Ryan Waldschmidt. He's number 66 overall. He tore his ACL in 2023. Got to make that recovery. Got to get going, hitting that ground running. Take measures from Mr. Lourdes Gurriel. He's doing it right, apparently. We'll see how it goes. But Waldschmidt will hopefully be with the organization here in the next few years, if not this year, especially with plethora of injuries in the outfield and questions about the outfield. But again, I do think he'll be up there in the next year or two. Now we're going to move to the fantasy assets. Corbin Carroll, need about all. I definitely think Corbin Burns will be needed about all if he's not drafted in your drafts. See if you can get him and put him on your IL. If he's a late round draft pick, do that as well. Be smart. That's a great way to go round 25 or, between 20 and 25. Get one of the top pitchers in the game prior to his injury or a super late steal. Of course, Ketel Marte is and all. Of course, Perdomo's and all. I think Nolan Arenado, Gabriel Moreno, Lourdes Gurriel, Alec Thomas, those are going to be more like 12, 15 teams overall. Adrian Del Castillo is definitely a dynasty keep, but again, I don't know if he's going to have a spot in that lineup. He could be a phenomenal player next year or something like that, so it might be a hold for now, but in dynasty, grab him ASAP. I think Zach Gallen should be an all. I think Merrill Kelly should be like a 12 to 15 plus. The only person in the bullpen, maybe you're looking at Puke, because he had a little more time to come back from that injury because it was very early on. And if you want to pick up Brandon Pfaadt, go ahead, but I don't want a 5-6 plus ERA guy on my team. Now back to my bold prediction. I think Nolan Arenado is my sleeper for this year. I love him. I've had him for several years. He's always produced for me except for last year. But in any case, I'm predicting boldly he'll have another 30 home run season. He'll have 90 RBIs and he'll hit 265. The humidor will bring him back to life. That's going to do it for day 2, ladies and gentlemen. 28 more days. I'm looking forward to every single one of them. Tomorrow, we're going to be moving west and talking about the San Francisco Giants. I'm looking forward to having you back, giving me your thoughts, especially if you are going to be agreeing with my bold predictions moving forward. This is JK Allen. Thank you for sharing part of your day with me.